Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a story that has everyone in Nigeria talking. It's a tale of power, land, and a very public standoff between two of the country's most prominent ministers and a naval officer. This isn't just about a piece of property, it's about respect, authority, and the rule of law. So, what exactly happened? It all started on Tuesday in Abuja, the nation's capital. The minister of the Federal Capital Territory, the well-known Nyesom Wike, along with his team, tried to access a piece of land. But they were stopped in their tracks. Blocking their way was a group of soldiers, led by a naval officer, Lieutenant Ahmad Yarima. The land in question reportedly belongs to a former chief of naval staff, Zubairu Gambo. Wike argued that the land was illegally acquired and his team was there on official duty. But Lieutenant Yarima stood his ground, stating firmly that he was acting on orders from his superiors. Videos of the confrontation quickly went viral. In the clips, you can see Wike visibly frustrated, telling the officer, "I am the minister, you can't say that to me." This kind of impunity cannot continue. He accused the naval personnel of using their uniforms to protect illegal activities and intimidate government officials. The tension escalated, and heated words were exchanged. Wike reportedly called the officer a fool, to which Lieutenant Yarima calmly replied, "I am not a fool, sir. I am acting on instructions, and I'm a commissioned officer." This moment, this exchange, is what has captured the nation's attention. Now, this is where the story gets even more interesting. The Minister of State for Defense, Bello Matawalle, has stepped into the fray, and he's not holding back. In a recent interview, Matawalle came out swinging in defense of the naval officer, Ahmad Yarima. He was very critical of his fellow minister, Wike. Matawalle said, and I quote, "What the minister did was not okay." He argued that Wike, as a cabinet colleague, should have handled the situation differently. Instead of confronting the officer on site, Matawalle suggested Wike should have contacted him or other military leaders. According to Matawalle, his own investigation revealed that Wike had been advised by the military high command to hold off. He said that Wike had called the Chief of Defense Staff, who asked him to wait for an investigation. The Chief of Naval Staff apparently made a similar request. But, as Matawalle put it, he did not wait as advised. He went to the place. Matawalle also revealed that he personally called Wike after seeing the video, telling him he should have reached out first. It seems Wike's response was that his officials had just informed him, and he went straight to the scene. Matawalle's defense of Lieutenant Yarima was robust. He emphasized that the officer was simply following a lawful order and did so with respect and humility. When asked if Yarima should face disciplinary action, Matawalle's answer was a firm no. He stated, "There is no law in the military that recommends punishment for the officer." He went even further, suggesting that by disrespecting the officer in uniform, Wike was, by extension, disrespecting the entire military and even the commander-in-chief, President Bola Tinubu. This is a very strong statement, framing the issue not just as a land dispute, but as a matter of national respect for the armed forces. And it's not just Matawalle, other top figures have weighed in. The Minister of Defense, Mohammed Badaru, also stated that the officer would be protected if it is confirmed he was acting on a lawful order. Even a former Chief of Army Staff, Tukur Buratai, criticized Wike's actions and suggested he should apologize to the military. The Defense Headquarters itself, while not issuing a formal statement, posted a cryptic message on social media that many interpreted as a show of support for Lieutenant Yarima. This unified front from the defense establishment is significant. Of course, Wike has his own side of the story. Speaking to reporters, he defended his actions, explaining that his presence was necessary because FCT officials were being attacked and beaten up while trying to do their jobs. He argued that if he, as their boss, didn't protect them, it would discourage them from carrying out their lawful duties. He stressed that nobody is above the law regardless of their rank. Wike also mentioned that other influential figures, including former President Olusegun Obasanjo and former Army Chief Theophilus Danjuma, had similar land issues but resolved them by calling him directly, rather than using soldiers to guard the properties. This implies that he believes the military was being misused in this context. So, where does this leave us? We have a situation with multiple layers. On one hand, you have Minister Wike, who sees himself as upholding the law in the FCT, fighting against what he perceives as illegal land grabs and the misuse of military personnel. He believes he was disrespected while performing his duties. On the other hand, you have the entire defense establishment, from ministers to former chiefs, rallying behind a junior officer. They see Lieutenant Yarima as a professional who followed orders respectfully in a difficult situation. They view Wike's public confrontation as an affront to the military as an institution. The public is completely divided on this. Some are praising Wike for his bold, no-nonsense approach to governance in Abuja, saying he's finally tackling the impunity that has plagued the city. They feel that a minister's authority should be respected. Others are applauding Lieutenant Yarima for his calm professionalism under pressure. They see him as a symbol of integrity, an officer who stood his ground respectfully in the face of immense pressure from a powerful politician. This group believes the military should be respected and not publicly berated. Then there's a third group that is questioning why military personnel are involved in a civilian land dispute in the first place. This incident raises some very important questions for Nigeria. What is the appropriate way for government officials to resolve interagency disputes? Where is the line between a minister's authority and the military's chain of command? And how should an officer behave when caught between conflicting directives from powerful figures? The fact that two cabinet ministers are publicly disagreeing highlights the complexities within the current administration. Matawalle explicitly stated he is investigating the matter, so this story is far from over. We'll be keeping a close eye on how this develops. Will there be a formal investigation? Will there be an apology, as suggested by Buratai? Or will this be quietly resolved behind the scenes? Whatever happens, this confrontation has sparked a national conversation about power, respect, and the roles of our leaders and institutions. It's a fascinating case study in governance and civil-military relations in Nigeria. What are your thoughts on this? Who do you think was in the right? Was it Minister Wike trying to enforce the law, or Lieutenant Yarima, who was following orders? Let me know your opinions in the comments below. I'm really curious to see what you all think about this complex situation. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this breakdown helpful, please give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into the stories shaping our world. I'll see you in the next one.